Hey guys, welcome back to the Fashionably Late pod. My name is Matt Dillon, your host. Fashion merged with a little bit of divine timing, so we're taking the literal fashion sense, but we're also going to talk about fashionably late, when life gives you a moment, perhaps when you don't expect it, and it comes through. Today's guest, I'm super excited. We met front row at Adore Me. Abigail Godfrey from Selling the City on Netflix, real estate agent, wife, and dog mommy. Hey girl, nice to see you.
Hey girl, hey.
Thank you so much for coming on. I wish you were here in this, I feel naked in the studio, but I'm glad to, you're too busy selling $25 million properties.
Yes, I'm coming at you live from New York City.
There you go. So I want to get into just a little background for my viewers and listeners to understand how a Southern girl ends up in the big bad streets of New York City and doing it in such a powerful boss way. You're such a beautiful breath of fresh air. I remember sitting next to you going, who is this girl? You radiate like a kindness that comes out of you. How the hell did you end up in New York City, girl?
Well, I grew up in South Carolina, and my mom says I was 5 years old with a feather boa wrapped around me saying, I'm going to move to New York City. And I just always had this larger than life personality and these big dreams. And I just always had so much energy that, I was always a little bit kind of too much for the South. So I ended up meeting my husband in college down South, and he's from New York. So when he told me he was moving up to New York City to work up here, I said, okay, we're going to get married. I'm going to come with you. I'm moving to New York. It's all happening. And I've been here for over 5 years now. So I think I very much have adapted to the lifestyle and the pace of the big city. But I definitely keep my Southern charm and my mentality of that Southern world lifestyle helps to keep me grounded for sure.
I think that's a beautiful anecdote. I came from Sydney, Australia, and moved to New York and stayed 14 years. And I was like, oh, it hardens you, but I think it gives you life lessons in a very short span of time. So
absolutely. And an opportunity really to grow a backbone, have your own voice, be heard. Really, New York City gave me that extra kick in the butt to really feel confident in who I am.
I so appreciate that because I resonate with that so much. I was from Sydney, it's a big city too. I really feel like you've come through and kind of just your presence alone, you do radiate such a power, but it's like in this pocket rocket vibe. So you're not, you know what I mean? You still have a kindness that comes out of you. You're 5 years in, maybe in 10 years we'll catch up again and she'll be like, boss. Yeah, exactly. That's so crazy. So I want to talk about, obviously, you found the love of your life, college sweetheart. I'm assuming that was the storyline that led you here. How did you real estate? How did that become something that you discovered? Was that something that was interesting to you your whole life? Or was it an outlet for you for independence? Take us through that, because I feel like New York City is the hub of real estate. Nowhere in the world has, yeah.
So when I first moved to New York City, I just wanted to get whatever job would hire me. So I ended up working in operations for this celebrity esthetician, and it was everything that you hope and wish for at the job in New York City. Was very posh. It was glam. I got facials all the time. My skin was amazing.
It still is, girl. It still is.
I still use all of the tricks that she gave. And I'll share those with you after.
I was like offline. Upper East Side was this clinic on the Upper East?
It was actually right across from Bryant Park.
Oh, way back in the good days. Yes, honey.
Yes. So then during the pandemic, obviously that shut down. And so, I had been living in New York City for months, and I always just would look into the windows of these beautiful townhomes, look up into the glowing boxes of light in these skyscraper apartments. And I just kind of thought, who are these people that live here and what does it look like and how do you get there? And so during the pandemic, I just found myself with a lot of extra time, and I had some family members in real estate down south. So it wasn't the most crazy idea for me to get into real estate. But my family was definitely, saying, girl, like, this is New York City. This ain't South Carolina. Are you sure you're ready for this? And so there was a huge learning curve. I was very lucky to have some solid mentors over the years to really show me the ropes, but I really just was obsessed with New York City and the beautiful apartments and the architecture, and I wanted to see inside.
I love the way you can tell you're in real estate, girl. Let me just preface this. The way you describe, just the way you describe that feeling. Living there, I remember when I first came to New York, you look up and you wonder, you look into these townhouses that have, especially Upper West, Upper East. I look at some of those that have the trellises that have run for hundreds of years with history steeped in like story. And just hearing you talk about that, I was like, oh, yes, you could sell ice to the Eskimos, girl. We got you. What was that period though during the pandemic? Was it a seamless transition or was there ever a moment of like, damn, like what do I want to do? Like how was that transition? What did you feel like it came fluidly?
It did come somewhat naturally to me. And the concept, I was sitting there just feeling so hopeless and depressed. Like, when is this gonna end? When am I gonna be able to go outside and go to work? And I was just sitting on furlough to like, this isn't me. I'm not this person who just sits around and doesn't do anything. So my husband actually said, you should just get your real estate license. Like, you did sales in college, you would be so good at it. Just do it. And if the pandemic ends tomorrow, you go back to your job, you see what happens, whatever. So, getting a real estate license is not that difficult. There is an insanely low barrier of entry, and that's why you see so many people getting licensed. The tricky part is once you are licensed, can you stick it out and can you make something of it? And a lot of people quit during that first year. So it was really important for me to just keep the confidence up, believe in myself. You hear a lot of no's, but then you start to get some yeses, and then you start to gain your strides, and that confidence just comes with experience.
You just made me you just made me laugh. It was like sticking out the year. I was like, I think every housewife, hint hints, has become a real estate agent as a storyline. And I'm like, have we sold? I'll give props to Kelly Ben Simone. I think she's doing well in the thing, but I'm like, I don't know. You see a lot. I have to give my hat off to you because you perfectly surmised it. Like, yes, I feel like in New York, every husband tells the wife, go get a real estate license. Right. But applying that and actually making it a career is what you've done. And I have to applaud you for that because it's not easy to just pivot, transition, especially in a time where the world was in upheaval. But it did make me laugh. I was like, I feel like every girlfriend of mine on the Upper East Side has their real estate license. Probably not in use though.
It used to be called, I don't know if it's still it, but it was called the divorce diploma because in that shitty women, when they would get a divorce, they would go into real estate. But now it really has become, and maybe that's through these TV shows, it has become a very dominant career force for women of all ages and all marital statuses and demographics. Like, you really can put hard work into this and see so many fruits of labor.
I love that. All right, you transcended well into the concept of real estate on TV, and I think it's really when I watched your show before I'd met you, I literally remember feeling like it was done in a way. Obviously, it's still by Selling Sunset, so production and what have you gives that Selling Sunset vibe. But Selling the City gives me the throwback to Whitney Port in New York City back in the days with the city with Olivia Palermo. You New York girls are a different breed of woman. You are badasses. Tell us about that process, because I think people, I've been in the production side and been on the camera side and have a few things coming out myself. So we'll get into that a little later. But I think it's fascinating that you actually do this as your career. So how the hell did you end up, popping off on billboards?
Lord, well, I was in real estate for 3.5-ish years. And, Eleonora had been obviously in this industry for a minute and like kicking butt. So I had heard she was working on building up this team. And when I met with her, it was just like, oh my God, like, you were the real deal. You were so just steadfast in your belief and your drive. And I wanted whatever she was having. And so
I'll take the cake, honey. Let's go.
please, And so then obviously hosted the show were happening. And when you find out that it's Netflix and that it's, Adam DeBello, Done and Done Productions, like I grew up watching Laguna Beach, The Hill, and The City especially was the show where I was like, okay, I'm going to move to New York City. I'm going to work in PR. Like, I literally wanted to be Whitney Ford. And so it's just like crazy to me that the same person who believed in her believed in me. It makes my heart so happy.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And so, I don't know if it would have been as good of a show if the team wasn't actually hard hitting, true real estate agents. I think what makes it so real and fun to watch because you are getting an inside look into our lives and into our day-to-days. We're not always in by the chills. We're usually in sneakers, but it's very representative of some of the drama and the trading and getting a listing and sort of all that goes into that.
I found it interesting to watch. It does have the soap thematic that Adam's so well known for. And, you got to have a little crazy mixed in with the thing. I want to talk about, though, and you touched on it. I think the show works really well because I see even now, post the show airing, having its premiere and airing, that you, Eleanor, you girls are actually together. You work together. You play together in the big bad city. There's the differential there. I think a lot of these shows end up, people become stars, people move and like flow. The friendships that I feel within you girls, seeing you there at Fashion Week, is what I think distinguishes why this show is different. I think New York City is the main character itself, number one. It's always a main character, but you girls have like a history, a back history, and a forward history that, many seasons to come, I'm hoping.
Fingers crossed.
Come on, girl.
I agree with that completely. We've seen shows where the cast is so clearly mismatched and it's just kind of awkward to watch. And, it's how you get to see some of the relationships building throughout the show. And now, like you said, I mean, he started filming season 1, about a year ago. So we've had that year of really just bonding through these experiences. And even without the show at all, I mean, we work together every day. We're in the office. We have team meetings twice a week. We're out at listing pitches yesterday. We're out at dinner tonight. Like we work, we play together. And that just brings a whole nother level of realness to the show because, we know each other very well.
Shit gets real. Let's say that because it can turn, when you know each other that well, I feel like that brings, it's kind of like it brings the authenticity there. And I think I love to see whether, and there has to be that Adam DeVello moment. So he's very well known for that. But I felt like, listen, there has to be that moment to get the show popping. But I feel like you guys had some sick properties on the show. Like, wow. And it's so different to when you watch a Selling Sunset because that's the Hollywood Hills and the Hollywood Hills. I'm more fascinated in I think you went into one and I think it's just sold. I saw it on your Instagram. The one that was an old coach, was it the coach house? Like a railway situation?
Yes, it's a carriage house.
Yes. Obsessed.
We're in contract right now, so finger crossed that sale to post through. I'm very, very proud about this. Jordan and I really just put our heart and into this project, and it is soon, hopefully, going to pay off.
And so let's move to the fashionable part because I did see, pardon me, I did see on the Instagram you walking to a showing in sneakers. So that being said, the image side of things, television. Pre-television, how important is the look? And let's talk about it from your perspective, because there's a lot of TV real estate agents that are giving some damn looks. And then there's what is your zone when it comes to fashion? I mean, you serve the looks, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, what's your comfort and what do you think represents the industry well?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm always trying new things and trying to push myself outside of my comfort zone. I love the avant-garde, but at the end of the day, I recognize that's not necessarily my personality. I like to say I'm Chanel upstairs and leather downstairs.
Yes, mama.
And have fun with it. It doesn't need to be so serious. And I think some of these I would say most of the real estate shows, they do a good job with having some fun outfits. And at the end of the day, like if we showed up in blazers and dress pants, then people would be pissed. And we show up dressed up in our fashion forward outfits, they're pissed. You can't ever make anyone, or you can't ever make everyone happy. So it was really just going into it, like, what am I going to feel confident in? And I think being the youngest, I had some wiggle room with really being fun with these outfits with some bright colors. And next season, I definitely want to shake up the glam and really have some like crazy hair moments.
I'm gonna work with you, honey. I'm gonna get you. Don't you worry. I'm looking at you now. I was like, I can see some things happening.
Oh, I know. I'm going to get a blowout later today, though, for the day she tucked behind.
She's cute. She's cute. I like that the way you called the analogy out. You can't win sometimes in life. You're going to not please on the left side. You're not going to please on the right side. So you got to please yourself and stay true to yourself. And I think you did a phenomenal job of that on the show. And I think this is your career. So you have to find, how did you find that is it the first time? Like that you go from like not doing television to a mega production like that? Well, I mean, you're not just jumping into local TV, honey. You just jump.
I always proudly call myself a reality TV junkie. I have seen every show. I love the tea. When I was getting my real estate license, I think season 1 of Sunset came out. Yeah. And that was really, that raised me as a real estate agent. Like, I love all the shows. So in that sense, like I did sort of understand the assignment as far as throwing in some little drama or cheeky moments, like getting a little bit crazy with the outfits. Like I just thought to myself, what would I want to see? And I tried to do that. I played around with some funny blazers and some, skirt suit moments and things like that I normally wouldn't wear to work. I mean, I'm in a button down and some kind of cargo jeans and sneakers right now because I have to bounce around showings and amazements, I do have heels in my purse, but that's sort of if I need them, I'll throw them on type of these.
There's the tricks.
Just had a tote bag with an extra layer of heels. So when we're filming, we like to elevate it.
Of course. I think what y'all did really well, and I appreciated, was that you brought the fashion, but you did it in an original way. Because obviously there's so many shows that came before, and you brought it in a way. I guess a New Yorker, you're 5 years in. I give you the New York hat now. You're there. I would say that you brought it in a New York style because there is a differential between the LA side of things and a New York girl.
Totally. It's different fashion. I even think the LA street fashion versus the New York City street fashion. I mean, I've never even been to LA, but, the people who live out there, it's a different type of vibe, So it totally makes sense that our outfits and our, vibes overall shouldn't be different. We're on opposite sides of the country.
Yeah.
We live different lifestyles. It just makes sense.
What's the response being from like people around you outside of your group? Like, what's that been like? Is that a hard transition?
Honestly, it's just been so lovely. And, they always say you're going to have a good season and a bad season. I think that my team, we had a very good season and the response had been tremendous. And really hearing from other real estate agents saying, I'd love to the show, that is like the biggest compliment because that are the things that you're concerned about is, how is the real estate industry going to respond? And they've just been so supportive. I think that really the show highlighted the beauty of New York City. And the response has just been amazing.
Oh, and I love that. And I love that you're dropping some good moments. I love that. I think that's something people don't think about, that this is your career. The show is that the show is an attaché to the career. So it's great to hear the feedback from industry saying like, take the crazy moments out, that you guys represent us in a way that, because New Yorkers are tough, but they'll tell you to your face on the street while you're getting the cup of coffee.
Exactly. That goes back to that you are never going to please everyone. So of course there's some real estate agents with big opinions, but at the end of the day,
they're just jealous, honey. Bye haters. Bye haters. Exactly. So to wrap it up, I want to kind of look to the future. Obviously, I'd love to see a season 2. I think that's I'll cross the fingers. I feel like that is in the cards. Where does Abigail Godfrey from the South, where does she want to be as a powerful role model for women, for young girls? Because whether you like it or not, girl, the minute you stepped in front of that camera, Netflix is not your local TV station, honey. So it's like you have a reach and a point of view and a voice. And even in the philanthropy that you've done with St. Jude, and you already are that kind of woman that's doing things. But where do you want to take this platform that you're on outside of perhaps of the real estate?
I really just want to be able to highlight to people that if you're, a misfit or different than others, that is okay. And there is a space for you. I got married when I was 24 years old, and in New York City, that is infancy. People automatically judge me. And, there are so many things about me that may not mesh with other people, but I've learned over the years that that is just totally okay. Mental health, like you have to take a day for yourself, but that's okay. Like really just showing more of myself to the world is important to me because I want them to be able to see a bit of themselves in me and to think, wow, if she can do that, then I can do that too. And it is possible for everyone. I'm a girl from South Carolina, literally on a New York City global television show.
Baby, let me tell you.
Any of your dreams are possible. Mine are coming true, and I could cry. It's amazing. And I just, I'm very lucky, but anybody could be lucky. So I think just really having that belief in yourself, that unveiling belief, and you hear a million no's, you're going to hear a yes eventually. And I hope that I can touch people, and I hope that I can just really help them to feel more confident about themselves.
That sums it up, ladies and gentlemen, because this is what this Fashionably Late is about. The showing up late to a party. Yes, that's the literal sense. And I'm like, for me, that's a no-no. 15 minutes is the cut-off time and we got a problem. But being fashionably late in life throws you moments when you at least expect, but life throws them to you when you're able to handle them, I believe, in the divine timing. So you've said it so perfectly, and you're literally a badass. And I can't wait to... I was like, our meet was fleeting, but I can't wait to actually come and hang out with you in the city. I'm going to be there in April, honey.
I am waiting for you with a very martini, baby.
Yes, my love. Thank you so much for coming on, my love.